QuantrellForLife.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Alan Cutler. Honored and pleased to be with you. Honored and pleased to be with you. Don't like the cold. This weekend, I put up a picture of a cactus tree. Jimmy, I was around cactus trees this weekend. And then last night in the airport, my car didn't want to start. It just didn't. 6 degrees. I'm freezing. Best friend's son gets married, so we went to Phoenix, Arizona. What a lovely, lovely weekend. And to come back to this, we have a wonderful show lined up for you. Dick Hoopsweiss, the Hall of Famer, coming up at 12:30. Chip Rupp, kind of a Hall of Famer in my eyes, at 1 o'clock. And Jason Mays, former high school and college coach who's unemployed. And we're going to talk about why. And you can make your own call, and we'll go from there. I'm not sure I'm going to do it now, so it might be a tease for later. We'll see how the monologue goes. But I have some new information on the KSR story with JMR. They started it, and I'm going to give a little update, which is interesting. And I've said this many, many, many times. I compliment Kentucky. I will rip Kentucky. But there's nothing personal, okay? I have complimented Mitch, and I have ripped Mitch. Nothing personal. And I got to tell you, it's going to come out that I'm going to say some nice thing about Kentucky today. Because you want to know why? It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. It's a pretty simple deal. But I want to put that aside, not just because it sounds like a tease, but I want to get into the game. Okay, Jimmy, did you just hear the three words that I heard? I kind of wrote it down with low. Shocking. Effort. Defense. Stops. Let me repeat. Effort, defense, stops. Effort, defense, stops. Wow. Now, I said before the NC Central game, I didn't know if it was going to happen. I still don't know if it's going to happen. I think it's got a better shot of happening. But I did not know. But I did say multiple times on my show that if Kentucky would beat NC Central, Indiana, and Patino, they'd be back in the top 25. I also said again, I had no idea. I've also said many times this team could totally change. When? Had no idea. Would it be? I didn't know. That's being honest. But they sucked for a long time, and I'm not taking that back. Winston Bennett thought they sucked. Many former players thought they sucked. DeMarcus Cousins thought they sucked. But you know what? A million times I've said this. Every game is a chapter. No matter how many games you play, let's say it's 40, 42, it doesn't make a difference. You have 40, 42 chapters in the book. They're all different. It can change from one game to the next. Certainly did for Kentucky. Now, if that's not an aberration, things have really changed. And so they have gone from the soft cats to tough cats. Jimmy, should we take the Mashburn soundbite out in the open now? Because I had they played like this all season, my goal was just to leave it in. But now, or should we wait a little while to see if this tough cats thing is for real and it's a trend? So do we take it out now or do we wait? Because what I saw, what everybody saw, was a bunch of tough cats. Tough cats. And now 49-42, and boom, they come back. And by the way, it's not like their toughness was lacking in the first half. They couldn't hit a damn shot. There were other things, and they came back. It was great. So, Jimmy, what do you think? Should we take the soft cats comment out by Mashburn, which at the time, by the way, was absolutely apropos? What do you think?
I think you got to do it 2 games in a row. 2 big games in a row. So if they do it against St. John's, they look good again. I think you can take it out for now. We can't do it after 1. You got to show us twice.
Okay. And now, by the way, see if you agree with this. Let's say they lose to St. John's 69-65 and they play tough. I still think we take it out because it should be predicated on winning and losing, because if they play with this kind of toughness, there's no question they're going to the NCAA tournament. There's no question they're going to have a really good season. And to me, if they keep on playing with this toughness, I think the offense will get better because I think they'll calm down more because they know they have something to rely on. I'm guessing you agree with all that, Jimmy.
Yeah. Even if they do lose, like you said, if it's the optics of it, watching it, did they look like a soft team that didn't care to be out there? Or did they, dive on loose balls, get second chance rebounds, all that stuff?
Shame on me for not saying this before the season. Seriously. In my notes, I'm going to go no filter myself. Before the season, I was going to announce, in my humble opinion, that Mo Diabate was the most important player on the Kentucky basketball team. I did not do it. I didn't. I am going to say it today. Mo Diabate, sure, Lowe helped change it. Absolutely. Who the heck are we kidding? Mo Diabate turned them into tough cats. Was it my eyes, or did I see like 4 or 5 guys, Indiana guys around him, and he got the ball? He's a tough kid from New York City. I love his toughness. 12 points, nice. 14 rebounds, nice. How about all the steals? How about all the steals? I mean, this is turning into a nice defensive team. I'm not going to say great, a nice defensive team that might get better. That might get better. And I still think the offense is going to get better. I do. I absolutely do. Whew. Mo Diabate had more steals than the entire Indiana team. Think about that for a second. He had 5 steals. 5. Excuse me. 14 points and 12 rebounds. I got it reversed. He changed the game. Look, Low help, no question about it. And I've been tough on Brandon Garrison, and I'm not taking it back, but I saw some nice things. And Jimmy, if I wonder if I'm going to start saying again, please don't shoot a 3. Unless it's the end of the shot clock. It's not a pretty shot. But give the kid credit. He had 2 turnovers. Not in love with it. He had 1 steal. He had 2 assists. He had 6 points. He played 20 minutes. I was a little surprised he played that much. But because how he was hustling, I think it had something to do with Marino not playing much. Plus, Marino didn't even take a damn shot. Really. But Marino had 4 steals? Wow. So between Mo Diabate and Marino, they had 9 steals. That's crazy. It's really crazy. You know what's going to be fascinating? If he changes the starting lineup. I got to tell you, for now, I like the starting lineup where it is. If you want to believe what most coaches say, that starting doesn't matter, but finishing does. So if Noah's going to play 11 minutes game off the bench, why not start him? Okay. And then you're coming in with a better player. Think about that. Or do you have to do the political thing, which I get? I'm good if they start Diabate. But, with the ankle and stuff like that, do you want to put him in a position where he's playing 35 minutes a game? I don't think so. So if they stay the same, and then you adjust as the game goes on, what was sad for me is that Jasper only got 2 minutes and 46 seconds. I'm biased. I really like him. But, that's old line. Like I used to say, when the NCAA tournament was 64 teams and Nick Vitale would be yelling and screaming and saying, but so-and-so deserved to get in, blah, 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 they got screwed. And I would always say, who are you taking out? So I watched the Indiana game on tape because of the wedding I went to. And I didn't even look for many updates because I figured I'd catch it later. Saw the score of the half, went, Saw the score after the game, I went, whoa, interesting. Tough cats. Let's go to Vitale and Barkley, and we'll talk to Dick Hoops twice about Vitale more because I think he's done 4 books with Vitale. They're very, very, very close. Vitale's voice was better than I was expecting. Actually, it's better than it has been in the past since he's come back numerous times from cancer. You know what made me sad, Jimmy? Barkley had to help him get to his seat. That made me really sad. That physically speaking, he needed help to get to his seat. I was surprised how good of a job he did. And I say that with kindness because there have been times the last few years I have said it's kind of time for him to retire because you could barely understand him. It didn't make him look good. And I was actually hurting for him. We'll see how many games he does. Barkley reminded me of Bobby Knight. Jimmy, is that an analogy? Your first thought when I say Barkley reminded me of Bobby Knight, what's your first? You have a smirk on your face. You've done this many times when come on, you're saying, Cutler, where the blank you going, right?
Yeah, initially, but then once I thought about it for 2 seconds, I'm like, actually, yeah, it's a very good analogy.
Okay, so you're smiling, so you got it, that Barkley did as much preparation work for this game as Bobby Knight used to when he did TV. Were you thinking that?
Yes, yeah.
And that kind of ticked me off about Bobby Knight, because I think he could have been a great, great commentator. And you know what ticked me off at the time about Bobby Knight? He was a hypocrite. Seriously. I was dumb enough to think that Bobby Knight would put work in. Look, people do some work for him because Vitale had, I can't think of Howie's last name. Oh, dear, dear, dear friend of Dick Coops Weiss. Great friend. But Howie did basically all the work for Vitale. Fed him the information, told him the information. Look, Vitale was prepared, but Howie got him prepared. Howie passed away a few years ago. I'm sorry, I'm going blank. It's one of those teenager moments. Now, with Howie being gone, Vitale doesn't prepare the way he used to. He just doesn't, and doesn't know coaches, young coaches like he used to. Just doesn't. But I got to tell you, I love Barkley and Vitale together. I really did. But I couldn't stand those split screens. Really? You made the two of them bigger than the game? They should have done the split screens coming out of timeouts. I want to watch the game. And I'm being selfish now. So I watched the replay on my phone. Okay. And I've got a long phone, but it's not like my computer. And I was ticked. Here's the other thing about Barkley. Gosh darn it. He was really good. I loved how he kept on saying basically that Kentucky's half-court offense sucks and they should just take the first good shot and then go bang the boards. And it really made a lot of sense. Now, maybe the half-court offense gets much better. Maybe it gets much better if Jalen Lowe can play more. And I got to tell you, I was surprised he could play 24 minutes. I was surprised. And he loves to shoot now. He had 13 shots, much more than anybody else. And I'm not necessarily in love with that. That's me. But I thought he played really, 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 really well. And he was a spark. There's no question about it. Plus, how about this? This is shocking. For a kid playing with one shoulder, he had 5 rebounds. 5. There were 2 things about the game I didn't like. One of them you thought of. I'm going to guess for most of you, one of them you did not. Okay? 3 for 15 from downtown. Wow. It's past horrendous. It really is. I'll tell you something else I didn't like. You shoot 66% from the free throw line. They had 38 free throws. And by the way, I don't think that was home cooking. I wonder what the Indiana fans are saying. Oh my gosh, we only had 29 free throws. They made 26. They shot 90 freaking percent. 90%. 90%. I can't stand 65%, Jimmy. I just can't stand it. It's how you lose the game in the NCAA tournament. They've got to do a better job. Diabate was 6 for 10. You want to say hasn't played in a long time? Yeah, okay. But you don't think he's been working on his free throws? Lowe is 3 for 6. Can't stand that either. That's 7 missed free throws between the two. Owe was 5 for 8. Free throws really bother me. They always have. I'm not changing. And in the first half, they got 1 for 9. 1 for 9? Awful. I got to tell you, it was in my notes when I looked at the final stats. I wrote in my notes, Jimmy, you ready for this? A Cal game. My gosh, how many times did Cal say, I love these games when we shoot in the 30% and this, that, and the other, but we toughed it out and we won. Because if you play tough like this and you have a good shooting night, you're going to win a whole lot of games. If this team can win without relying on shooting, except free throws, there's just no excuse for shooting 65.8%. 38 free throws to me is a lot. They had 38. They only made 25. Really? They won 72-60, and this should have been 77-78-60. But they came back. 49-42. And obviously, I'd seen the final score when I'm watching it. I'm kind of curious, how are they going to do it? And Mo changed the momentum. His energy is infectious. So I'm sticking by this. To me, Mo Diabate is the most important and best player on the team. If you think it's Low coming back, God bless you. God bless you. If you think it's OA, God bless you. Because I think at times it's okay to disagree. Most of the time it is, but how we do it. And I'm not saying because he had this game yesterday, it's been in my cranium, and then when he got hurt, I couldn't say it. But I should have said it before the season started, so that's on me. My gosh, they forced 18 turnovers. 18. And they only had 4. Jimmy, that's called a smart basketball team. They were really protecting the ball. They were. Really protecting the ball. And of the 4, look, Brandon Garrison had 2. One was a team turnover. But at least I thought Garrison bounced back. He bounced back, which I think is a beautiful thing. I really do. Let's play a little sound, and I think I'm going to hold that, might hold that JMI information, which I think you're going to find fascinating. I might hold it to 1 o'clock. We'll see. Jimmy, let's go to the players portion that I sent. And I did send it this time, right?
Yes, you did.
Let's go to low number 1. And, you know, the kid's got a really good smile. And he's a basketball junkie. And this sounds obvious, but not everybody loves the game equally. I think this kid really loves the game. Here is Low with a big smile. And he was like a kid in the candy store because he got to play. This is Low after the game.
You know, I just wanted to bring a lot of energy. My guys know what to expect from me, and just trying to be a leader on the court and just show up in ways that, you know, just show up in ways that contributes to winning at all costs. So I just try to do that.
What was the difference in not does the shoulder feel?
The shoulder feels amazing. You know, it's the best it can be. You know, it's that's all I can really say. It feels like the best it can be right now.
Are you pretty confident with it? Are you pretty confident with that shoulder going out there?
Yeah, I'm not gonna go out there unless I do feel confident. So, yeah, if I'm out there, that means I feel pretty good.
You know, Jimmy, he feels pretty good. And I applaud the kid for his guts. I really do. But he ain't 100%. He's not 100% with his wind, much better. And it should continue to get better. But you can't be 100% with that shoulder. Putting it out of your mind totally is tough. And people can go after your shoulder. They will. Not trying to be mean, not trying to be nasty. It's just the way it is. And I'm not so sure Saturday was a desperate, because I'm usually not big on saying it's desperate time in December. But it's about as close to desperate as Kentucky has had in forever. Clip number 2. I think they desperately needed this win.
What's the worst possible way of needing to win? I mean, we absolutely needed this tonight, just to show our guys that we have the fight in us, that we're capable of doing this. You know, it's been rocky and hard for us so far on this journey, but just showing these guys that we can show up and do it in every aspect tonight is huge for us.
It was huge, and really nice comment. How about this? Mo Diabate's birthday. They won on his birthday, and Lo talks about the obvious, having Mo Diabate back.
I think just, you know, having a good idea of knowing what kind of shots we're gonna get day in and day out, and just continuing to build on that. I feel like once we get comfortable with the flow, you know, of actually having everybody back, it's kind of hard when you have guys in and out, injuries and things like that. So, you know, once everybody starts clicking together and playing together, then I feel like it's gonna fall into place.
You know, I've been tough on Brandon Garrison, and I'm not taking a syllable of it back, but you got to give the kid a lot of praise. You really do. You really do. And I think we'll have time to play that soundbite about him later today. I don't think we'll get it before 12:30, but his mom has helped him out tremendously about keeping him positive. And the kid could have folded his tent and gotten worse. He has not played well. And I can't stand his instincts. But I tell you what, I was really proud of him because he could have gone in the blank, 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 and he did not. Now, can he build on this and maybe turn himself into a very, very valuable player? Maybe, and I hope so for his sake. And here's Lowe talking about how Brandon Garrison responded the right way.
I mean, I'm so proud of BG, man. To be able to respond to, what happened last game and play the way he played tonight is everything. That's the definition of I guess what we stand for and what we play for. Just how you respond, and he's a guy that I see coming every single day with a smile on his face no matter what, and he's super confident in what he does, and he brings a lot of energy and joy, and that spills out onto the court with how hard he plays. He plays for a lot more than just us. He's got a son that he's got to take care of. So with him dealing with everything that goes on around him, for him to still show up for us every day and give us 1,000%, we couldn't ask for anything more from him.
Jimmy, you know what he sounds like? He sounds like a quarterback in the NFL who's been a starter for about 10 years, doesn't he? Isn't Lowe really, really, really good how he just incorporates everybody and everything and all the right things? Hey, Garrison's got a son. He wants to take care of him. It's just natural. Kid's a really good interview. You know what? He's probably a future coach, don't you think?
He sounds like it. It's funny how not all point guards, but some point guards, like a point guard on the court, but also like in that press conference. Perfect. Yeah. Just distributing the comments here and there, compliments here, compliments there.
I remember the first time he talked to the media, it was for a long time period. And I think, if I recall, we played like every soundbite, and it was a whole bunch of them that we played. And I remember saying afterwards, oh my gosh, this kid's really mature. It was an instant reaction. You have to do. Remember the time where he dove out of bounds? And as I watched it, I went, what the, like you were doing, blank, 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 is he doing? And he said his trainer with a smile probably will tell him, don't do that again. But he also was saying, I want my guys to know that I'm all in. And when he did that, the energy that had to give to the entire team and the entire crowd at Rupp had to be infectious like crazy. But I got to tell you, when I saw him do it, he also was pretty smart how he rolled and protected his shoulder, which was very, very, very smart, because had he fallen on his bad shoulder, ooh. Look, Lowe's a smart kid, okay? And he knows, clip number 5, that teams will go after him.
Yeah, I mean, I know what's going to come with it. I know teams are going to set screens on my right side, might play a little dirty, try and pull whatever, but it's just a little different. It's hard to play, a little bit harder to play with a brace like that. It's really restricting. You don't want to allow too much motion in your arm like that or whatever. So it's very different. I gotta get used to it. But at the end of the day, I'm a basketball player, and I gotta go out there and play basketball to the best of my ability. And I know I can still play at a very high level, no matter what's going on.
Yeah, talking about how they're going to screen him on that side, and they will go after him, and they will. And it's going to happen in the SEC play. It just will. It'll happen the first game against Alabama. It just will. I also like how he said that he played harder, and I think the whole team played harder because of Mo. And there was a little joke, after the game, is it Mo and Lowe and Mo, whatever it is. Mo makes everybody play harder. He just does. He just does. Jimmy, I think we have time to play Brandon Garrison, and we'll go right down the clips, 6, 7, and 8. I think we get it in before our first break. Brandon Garrison, with some of the garbage he took and everything that went on, and just how things at times aren't always rosy.
It's just a part of basketball. I had a little mistake, but I feel like I handled it the right way. I ain't let it bring me down, and came out and responded well. Yeah, big time.
How fun was it tonight hearing the BBN get behind you? It kind of helped bring a spark in the game when you needed it.
Yeah, BBN's always there, for us. I feel like the arena was electric tonight, loud. But, they always show off for us, so we just won for them.
Clip number 7, handling social media criticism.
I try not to, look at it so much, I got off social media a little bit, they was on all of it. So I ain't really want to see it, because it could mess up the head a little bit, but I try not, to worry about it, people have stuff to say. They don't know what we go through, in practice and stuff, but just go out there, do what I do and not worry about the outside noise.
Really like this soundbite a lot. He gives a lot of credit to his mother for keeping it together.
My mother helps me out with that a lot, she always encouraged me, if I had problems, I talk to her, she just, been my light, ever since stuff been happening, but, I give her all the kudos, she just been helping me through this all, so I say my mom.
Did you ever lose faith that this was possible?
Nah, I wouldn't, even though people were saying like I did, I just went in practice, kept, control what I control, like I said, and good things happen like this, so.
Good for him. We'll try to play Mo Diabate between 1 and 1:30. Depends where my mouth takes us. It's a pretty simple deal, as Jimmy's kind of nodding his head yes. And I'm going to tell you, I nod my head yes when it comes to the Quantrill family and the Subaru. This holiday season, give the gift of adventure with Quantrill Subaru. Right now, during the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event. That's right, the Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to one of 5 amazing nonprofits, including, this is a special one, the Hope Center. And Quantrill Subaru is stepping up in a big way, more than doubling that. So the donation will be a total of $550 for every new Subaru purchased or leased. That's purchased or leased now through January 2nd. Be part of the community and help make a difference during the 2025 Share the Love event at Quantrill Subaru. Learn more at QuantrillSubaru.com. What a great place to get a Volvo. We have the XC60. We love it. The hybrid, 41 miles before used gas. It is so smooth. It's our 3rd car in over a decade with Quantrill. We love it. We love it. So don't forget about Cadillac, Volvo, and Subaru. Dick Hoops Weiss coming up next. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrill Auto Group. QuantrillForLife.com.
Forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Hutchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Hutchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Ho, ho, ho.
What are you doing, Uncle Rick?
I'm looking at these twinkle lots, 250 strands of lots, 100 individual bulbs per strand for for a grand total of 25,000 twinkle lights.
Well, it looks like you're not quite ready for the holidays yet, but here at Clark's Pop and Shop, we are. We have 5-hour energy shots, buy 2, get 1 free, and Mike and Ike or Hot Tamales Theater Box Candy, 2 for $2.
Maybe I should wrap up my lights so I can get over to Clark's Pop and Shop.
Uncle Rick, the little lights aren't blinking.
I know, Carl. I know.
Happy holidays from the Clark family.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
I mean, effort was everything for us tonight. Without effort, I don't want to say that we won, but it was just our effort that made us win tonight. Whether it was offensive rebounds or just getting stops on big players on the defensive end or even offensive rebounding. I feel like that was just the model for the game today, just to give our effort.
Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM. Effort, defense, stops. 3 things that have been missing. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, my dear friend, Dick Hoopsweiss. One of these days, is it 8 Hall of Fames, 9 Hall of Fames? How many Hall of Fames in?
Calm down.
Well, I got to get it right after all these years. How many is it?
8.
8? Okay. I was about to say, you don't even know you have so many. Dick Hoopsweiss, my dear friend, honored and pleased he's been joining us. Do you agree that you finally saw effort, defense, and stops? And do you agree?
Yeah, I mean, and look, the statistics back it up. They forced 18 turnovers. They held Indiana, a team which lit it up from the 3 against Penn State, to 4 for 24. Offensively, they were around the glass on missed shots. I mean, look, it's still a work in progress, Alan. But this is a step in the right direction. I'm a big one for effort. I mean, you didn't see any effort in the Gonzaga game. There was good effort from everyone on the team Saturday night, and a double celebration after the women's volleyball team makes the Final Four.
Yeah, they got a great shot, as everybody knows, of winning the national championship, and especially with Nebraska losing at home for the first time in over 3 years, whatever the heck it was, a long time. I mean, and what's interesting?
I love the fact you become a women's volleyball fan.
I have.
Very impressive. Very impressive.
And you're going to love this. Lizzie Carr, family friend, has been playing out of her. I mean, she's a 6'5" middle blocker. And I thought she was taller. She looks taller, and she's doing some.
I think she's taller. I think she's taller than that.
I do too. I don't know why they've listed.
I do. I think she's taller than that. But fabulous kid. I mean, I love her parents, love her family. I found myself watching the scores, which is great. I mean, I was not only stunned with Texas A&M's win, I was pretty stunned by Wisconsin's win over Texas.
Yeah,
I mean, it's set up for them to make a run. I still think Pitt's a very good team. We'll see what happens with A&M. A&M played lights out yesterday on national television. But Kentucky, they get their work done. And, the fan base is really kind of build the place for big events now, and I think they're true believers. I mean, the coach there has done a fabulous job. Come on, you don't win 9 SEC championships unless you're special.
He should be the highest paid volleyball coach in the country, and I don't even know what that number is. I'm just guessing there are volleyball coaches making over $1 million a year. I'm just guessing. I don't know. Is it true?
I don't know, but I mean, he's turned a fun game into a very productive, revenue-producing sport. And he's the guy who gets up and does most of the marketing. He'll go live and at basketball games. I mean, he'll raise the roof whenever he can. And I think people are responding to him. That's the thing about Kentucky sports. If you have a good team, they'll show up for baseball. They'll show up for volleyball. I mean, they'll show up for football. I mean, you have rabid fans and loyal fans down there.
You know what's interesting? And I hadn't looked at it this way. It is possible. And if you would ask me this 10 years ago, I'm going, no, I don't see that happening. It is possible that volleyball, women's basketball, And baseball can be positive to the ledger. And I don't mean this in a negative, but as you know, most of the sports drain money from the budget, and football is the number one moneymaker. Basketball is number two, and they have to pay for everything. And I got to tell you, if they win a national championship, ticket sales will go up next year. It's usually more the following year. And there's no question in my mind, women's basketball, their tennis was wonderful last year. It'll be better this year. And I this could be interesting. If you could have a program where a couple of women's sports are actually
Right. It puts you in Sears Cup contention when you have that type of success.
Yes. No, I'm a fan, and I don't know how, male or female. It's not a female comment. I don't know how anybody could dive on the floor as much as they do and be able to walk it.
Yeah, well, neither one of us are in that category, pal.
Oh, come on now, Hoops. I could dive one time and then I'd need a crane to pick me up.
That's true.
But it's amazing.
So, did you get a chance to watch any of the Kentucky game Saturday?
No, I didn't watch it live. We were in Phoenix. My best friend's son got married.
Nice work. Weather looked good out there, was it?
It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
That's what I like to hear.
Look, I was saying we could live there November, December, January, February, probably March. Don't want to touch it in the summertime. Not that we're moving out there.
No.
But clear skies. It's just beautiful out there. So many people have gone out there.
Well, the Midwest. I mean, in the East they go to Florida. The Midwest they go to Paradise Valley and Scottsdale for the winter. It's just what they do. I mean, and I get it. I mean, look. Once you get to May and June, when it's 105 degrees, it's time to go somewhere else. But it's a great place for the winter. That's
what old people do. I guess that'd be me, right?
I was going to say I probably qualify for that now.
Yeah, you do. Let me.
What you think of the?
Go ahead. No, you go first, please.
No, I was going to ask you what you thought of the game. I mean, when you win the effort stats, you can win a lot of games.
I kind of kicking myself. I was going to say it before the season started, and I did not say it. And then I was going to stay at the start of the season, but he hurt his ankle. I think Mo Diabate is the most valuable player on the team, going to be all year.
You told me that prior to the season. I mean, he had a great game on Saturday.
My problem.
I mean, those are the numbers that win you games. If you tell me he can get 14-7 every game, there are going to be a lot of games.
My problem was it was a private conversation with you, and I didn't say it on my show. I have to be honest.
If they only knew what we talked about in private, Al.
Absolutely. Well, and most of it could go on the air. Most.
I would say about 98%.
Yeah. And by the way, I don't want to give anybody a hint that it's not clean because that's not true.
No.
Oops doesn't have a potty mouth. I do. Let me throw this at you. John Summerall is donating $100,000 to the school's NIL fund. Just ran across my screen. That's pretty cool, no?
Sure, it's great. Look, I wish all coaches would do that, but $100,000, what does that buy you? A quarter of a player?
Oh, Tulane's level, that could buy you at least.
Except he's not at Tulane anymore.
No, but he's donating to Tulane.
That's great. That's great.
I'd buy you two.
Well, that's a nice part. That's a nice parting gift.
Yes,
that's
it is.
Really nice.
And it shows you how much he loved the place. And I always thought it was sincere because he's just.
Yeah, I was one of those people who thought he would have been a very good coach at Kentucky at one point.
No question. I don't know.
I wish him all the luck in the world at Florida because that is a huge platform if you're successful.
And I have a feeling that Scott Strickland will give him whatever he needs because if he fails, they're going to fire Strickland as well. Strickland from Kentucky.
I was going to say, I mean, after a while, the AD's on the clock too at most of these schools. You can't, it's the one sport you can't fail at multiple times.
I'm actually surprised he survived this far without knowing the particulars, but Scott is very smooth. and he's very friendly. And
Yes. I know him from when he was in Kentucky before he ever became big and powerful.
I saw him work the room one time. I don't remember where it was. There was a lot of people there, some media people, boosters, and whatever the heck it was. And he worked the room better than anybody I'd ever seen. And
he was really good at that.
What he would do is, and I learned something from him, but I never used it. When he was done with the conversation, he would kind of tap the person on the arm and the elbow. And that was his way of saying to move on. I saw him do it in a matter of, I don't know, it was quite a while, a number of times, and it was the same move. You know how Patino had a move. I think I've told you this, that, Patino had to tell when he was making something up. Did I ever tell you that? I'm sure I have.
You did.
Okay, so this is what he would do. It's okay. He would raise his head, okay, and then talk with a higher pitch in his voice. And every time he would do that, it's not like I learned it the first day, because that's nonsense. Somewhere in his first year, I picked it up, and it helped me with stories like crazy. Because he would when he would do it, I go, he's full of, to myself internally, and I don't mean this in a mean way, he's full of blank, blank, blank. When he would be, just pontificating and that kind of stuff, and telling a story and maybe exaggerating and stuff like that. And I don't mean it negativity. He had to tell. Now, it was even crazier. I saw Richard early as a coach do the same thing, the same exact thing. His father's son, he was on the bench with him, the whole thing. And the first time I saw Richard do it, I'm trying to think of where, early in his career, I laughed so hard. It was unbelievable. He even would fold his hands like his dad used to.
Well, I'm sure he may be doing that more than he expects, because I'm not sure how good Xavier is this year. Although they did get a good win over Cincinnati. I give him credit for that.
A big win, and I love what he did. Pope does ice cream, to buy ice cream for everybody, and he was at a bar with all these college kids from Xavier. Said, we couldn't win without you. Drinks on me. So it's pretty smart.
Yeah, I think that's great. No. First-year coach to do it, and he was a little bit like that at Minnesota and New Mexico. So I'm not surprised that he's accessible to the students. That's great. I think that's an important part at a smaller Catholic school where, in fact, you are the center of attention 95% of the time. You're the biggest voice on campus because they don't have football. And he's smart enough to understand that.
Throw this at you. I like Diego Pavia. He just did one of the dumbest things. I want to see if you agree with me.
Why would you ever do that? Why? That is so bad. We're talking. You can tell them about it, Alan, but it ruined a great story. It's a bad ending to a great story. I can't believe that he lost his mind. The balloting wasn't close.
Even if it was close, still it's the wrong thing to do.
Still, show some class. Look, I'll be the first person to tell you, I wish, I thought Fernando Menendez offered a great acceptance speech. I would have liked it if he had done a shout out to the three finalists, because that's just common sense. But he missed it. I must not have been on his note cards, but he gave a beautiful speech. I was really disappointed. I thought Vanderbilt is such a good school. I thought that I didn't think that would happen, but you can't use a four-letter word to describe the media because they don't vote for you.
F, we'll leave it at that, the voters, but family for life. Here's my other point. You're an NFL team, and let's say you're considering drafting him in the fourth round or something.
I think that's a major issue. Now, look, that's a character question.
Yep, and it hurts Sanders, like it or not, and I think if you're an NFL general manager, you're saying, do I want this on my team? Because suppose he becomes the number 2 quarterback, but he thinks he beat out the number 1 guy. Who needs this? And I think not only make him look bad, not to make Vandy look bad, but is he not smart enough to know he hurt his future?
Well, what surprises me is he hasn't corrected it.
No, he has apologized. No, I saw it.
Oh,
And I
oh,
purposely
he did. Well, I hope he did, because that was just so out of character for any Heisman finalist. I mean, you are basically being recognized as the example for every high school kid. I mean, look, I loved his comment when he said, "I was you," when talking about guys who don't look like they're going to get a chance and start their careers as third string quarterbacks at Cal. And, he basically made the point to younger players that, don't let the stars on a recruiting chart affect your ability to step in and do the job. I mean, he played for a good high school. He played for Columbus. They had a good record. But I'm sure that he didn't think when he went to Cal that he would wind up being the Heisman Trophy winner in an unbeaten Indiana team.
Yeah, not in a million years. That's like an amazing.
Yeah, and that's the ultimate dream come true. I love the fact he spoke in Spanish to his grandparents. I love the fact he went out of his way to talk about his family and his brothers. I mean, there was a lot of feel-good moments at the end of that. At the end of that show, and the guy had 2,300 votes. I mean, so there wasn't much question in the voters' mind who was going to win. Maybe too many people swallow the SEC cult lines about, well, of course he's going to win. He's from our league. No, this was the right choice at the right time.
I purposely didn't copy and paste his apology. It's 1,000-1. He didn't write it, Pavia. It's 1,000-1. Some PR firm or his agent's PR person. I can't stand that stuff. When I don't know, maybe it was his idea to apologize. Could be. I would imagine the agent was on the phone.
Oh, I have a feeling someone got to him right away and said, "This is not good for your future."
But nobody look, I'm not saying he's not smart. That's not where I'm coming from. Most people don't write an apology the way this came out. And I don't understand these companies who do the writing for athletes who screw up, who don't write in the manner in which they speak.
It happens all the time, Alan.
But it's dumb.
I mean, this is a big money business. You want to try to present the best image you can, and a lot of it is written by their agents. This would sound much better if you did it this way, but you can see through a lot of it.
But that's dumb. Do it in a way that the kid would talk.
Yes.
Be polite and respectful. Matter of fact, I am amazed that these PR firms are so stupid and don't understand that nobody buys these things. Let it come from the kid's heart. Let them say, okay, why don't you do it? And if we have to clean it up, we will. Bad grammar, this, that, and other, make a suggestion back, but let the kid do it. Let the kid do it. Because I looked at this and I went, this is just BS. And I've been doing this for years. I can't stand it. I just can't stand it. I got two more things I want to get through with you for sure, Dick Hoops Wise, before. I thought people, and I've said this before, people need to you did 4 books with Vitale, and you guys are very, very, very close. And I got to tell you, I was surprised how good his voice was in the Kentucky game, but I tell you what made me sad. Barkley was helping him. I didn't see the rest of the
watching him walk to the press table. And God bless Charles Barkley, who's got a huge heart. I mean, he was so good with him, so patient, said all the right things at the end of the broadcast. He really came across like a great guy.
Which Barkley is, but my point
is because Dick's legs were shot.
Yeah, and it's sad. And I don't know how many games he's scheduled to do. and his voice again was much better than I was expecting, because there have been a few times when we both have heard his voice in the past when he's come back from the. It's amazing.
I was worried about him. I have to tell you, but once he gets into it and gets a cadence down, he was fine on Saturday. Look, the guy's given so much of his life to ESPN. I mean, I don't want to see him go out where he can't do the work, and I'm happy whenever he gets on and makes a good impression.
Yes, but the last few years where he's been on, he has not made a good impression. So maybe his
It's hard. I mean, I wouldn't want to come out of constant, chemotherapy and not being able to talk for 6 months because of your throat. I mean, I can't imagine what it's like to beat cancer 4 times. That's got to take a lot out of you.
Oh, it's amazing he got there and did it, and I'm sure by doing it, it helped him out tremendously. You and I had a private conversation, and we said we'll talk about it on the air. As life has changed, and as everybody knows, the overwhelming majority of any football team is now African Americans. It's been that way for a long time, and a topic that, I don't know if it's brushed under the table or people don't talk about, but there are please correct me if I'm wrong, there are no African-American head football coaches in the Southeastern Conference. In basketball, there are 2 in men's basketball, correct? And women, I believe it's 3.
3, right.
In the Eastern Conference. And I don't have a quota. That's not me, Hoops. You know me personally really, really well. And I'm not saying you should have, if the basketball team is full of 80% African Americans and the head coach, that's nonsense.
No. Look, you pick the best candidate. I just don't want some of the best candidates being excluded before they get a chance to interview.
Now, do you honestly believe, and I do too, there are many African American assistant coaches who have earned the opportunity but are not seeing it? Do you believe that?
Well, after watching Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame, yeah, I do. I do think that there are people that could make the transition without a lot of problems, and I'd like to see it. I also think this. I worry that Sharon Moore may have hurt the chances of future candidates with his actions. I hope I'm wrong with that, but Michigan is one of the top 5 programs in the country, and that story went viral, and it still has legs today.
And it's an horrendous story. A horrendous story.
Yes, it is. Very, very sad. I mean, as I said, way to ruin your career. I mean, he lost $13 million in his family. It's insane.
Well, you lose your family first, of $13 million second, and he can't get hired as a high school coach now, correct? What does the guy do? Sell cars?
I think he's toxic, Alan.
Yeah.
I do. I just think it's the way it is. You hope that he gets whatever mental health counseling that he obviously needs. I mean, I think he had a total breakdown when this happened. I think that's probably what led to it, but I think, he has nobody to blame but himself for this. Okay. I mean, and I think that if he hadn't been so outrageous with the phone calls on that Tuesday and the text messages, it may have never reached that point where she went to the administration and told her story. I mean, it may have been, the thing that scares me about this is the fact that there were a lot of people who knew about this long before it broke. And they now have an investigation. For a really good academic school, Michigan has had more than its share of scandals involving the football team. I mean, with 11 players since Jim Harbaugh arrived on campus have been either suspended or lost their jobs, there's something wrong with that. I mean, What price is too high to win a national championship? I don't know, but I do think that the school's better than that. And if I were the athletic director, I might be worried about my job security.
Let me throw a couple things at you. One, when I said sell cars, most car dealerships wouldn't touch them, but there might be one out there that would. I mean, whether it's selling cars or selling insurance, maybe he can sell insurance, but most insurance companies wouldn't want him to represent them. And so my point is, I don't know what the guy does to make a living. I mean,
I don't know.
Oh,
I don't know. This is the ultimate car wreck. It's like, I don't know how you come back from this.
So 11. No, he's done. 11 suspended from Michigan since Harbaugh showed up. And Georgia leads the world in speeding tickets for the football players in the last 5 years. They're both winning national championships. And you know what? Does it matter? Seriously, as long as Georgia keeps on winning, they're not going to fire the coach. One of the greatest coaches in the history of college football. Gets in trouble, and they tell the kids, I know they tell the kids not to do it, and they keep on doing it. So it's part of recruiting. It's absolutely part of recruiting. I can't believe all the speeding tickets that Georgia has gotten, and I can't.
Well, we're talking about one death involved here. You can't be driving a car at 120 miles an hour. You can't. And that seems to be a cultural thing with Georgia football players. I don't understand it. That's crazy. That's crazy town.
It's crazy, and it's bad. Hoops, anything else on your...
So let me ask you one question before I go.
Please.
Why is everybody so quick to write off Ohio State in the football playoff? Why does everybody say, oh, it'll be Georgia, Indiana? Ohio State, in my mind, still has the best team.
I think it's what's the word I'm looking for? It's the thing to do because so many people don't like Ohio State that they can't wait to jump on their bandwagon to degrade them.
You could be right.
In the same manner they would do if Notre Dame had won in the last couple of years the way Ohio State had done and had lost, let's say, their last game. I think they'd be jumping on the bandwagon, picking other teams who are also, picking those two. I get it. But no, I think it's because of the hate of Ohio State as there's the hate from Notre Dame. I don't think it's logic. I have no idea who the hell's going to win, but I got to tell you.
Well, we all know if the Big Ten wins again, that'll be 3 straight years.
And they will shove it down the SEC's throat. And the truth is,
oh, yes,
they do. Guess what? Too bad for the SEC. Because the SEC throat. Look, I'm fair as fair. Fair is fair. The SEC was absolutely the best, and they were obnoxious about it. I got no problem with that. And guess what? Guess what? If that league wins again, I'm saying that league on purpose just to be obnoxious. If that league wins again,
it's like saying the team up north, right? That league.
Up north wins it, you know what? They have a right to shove it right back in the SEC. It's part of sports. But I think that the dismissive of Ohio State is because so many people don't like. I have nothing against Ohio State, but I think a lot of people can't stand him. Therefore, they're going, they're just saying this. Well, they can't be one of the two because it's their heart instead of their head.
Could be right. I just think that, there's an awful lot of players on that roster who are going to be first-round picks,
Yes.
And 3 of them are in defense.
Yes.
And look, they were a chip shot field goal away from overtime. If the game was overtime, they could easily have won it.
Yes, I agree. Well,
look, Indiana is a real feel-good story, and what he's done there is unbelievable. And it's not only helped Indiana, but my guess is it is also created a problem for coaches who don't achieve it at a certain level because they say, well, Indiana did it, why can't you? I've never seen a year where there are more coaches fired before the end of the season.
That's what they're saying in Lexington. If Indiana can do it, why can't Kentucky? Especially Indiana with the love that's between the two schools. Hoops, hoops, hoops.
Oh, yeah.
God bless
All
you.
right, pal.
It seemed like a 10-minute conversation. It was over a half hour. Those are the best kinds.
Hey, enjoy Kentucky St. John's coming up.
Can't wait. Can't wait. I've texted Patino. Let's see if he answers back. But I'm trying to get him on the show.
All right, pal. Listen, enjoy the week.
I will. And stay warm, Hoops.
It's cold up here, pal. We hit 6 inches.
Oof, that's worse than here. Got in my car last night.
And 17-degree weather.
We had 6 degrees when I got in my car, which didn't want to start last night.
Oh, my God. Well, I remember what it was like down there. That's that damp, frigid cold in Lexington when it gets like that. It's just you can't wait to get it back indoors.
Yeah, it stays in your bones. Hey, bless you, brother. Thank you so much.
Hey, it's always good talking to you, Alan.
Thanks, pal. Dick Hoops Weiss. Dick Hoops Weiss. Coming up next, chip her up. Don't forget about my friend Terry Page, Terry Page, a great licensed massage therapist. Please use my name, 859-373-0578, 859-373-0578. Use my name. She's helped me tremendously. 859-373-0578. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313. 859-381-1313.
Ho, ho, ho.
What are you doing, Uncle Rick?
Looking at these twinkle lots, 250 strands of lots, 100 individual balls per strand, for a grand total of 25,000 twinkle lots.
Well, it looks like you're not quite ready for the holidays yet, but here at Clark's Pep & Shop, we are. We have M&M, Milky Way, Snickers, or Twix share-size candy bars, 2 for $4.50, or Uncle Ray's potato chips, 8-ounce bags, 2 for $6.
Maybe I should wrap up my lots so I can get over to Clark's Pep & Shop.
Uncle Rick, the little lights aren't blinking.
I know, Carl. I know.
Happy holidays from the Clark family.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. This holiday season, give the gift of adventure with Quantrell Subaru. Right now, the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to one of 5 amazing nonprofits, including the Hope Center. And Quantrell Subaru is stepping up in a big way, more than doubling that, donating a total of $550 for every new Subaru purchased or leased now through January 2nd. Be part of the community and help make a difference through the 2025 Share the Love event at Quantrell Subaru. Learn more at QuantrellSubaru.com.
I'm Kathy Bingaman. Over the holiday, there was an attempted fraud attack. My personal banker, Mary Rose, and I networked together, and the first thing that I thought of was I have to text her. And it was just within the next few minutes, there was an entire team that came together collectively. And that's just not the type of service that you typically get from your bank.
That's Kathy's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
W223CV Lexington. ESPN Sports Radio 1392.5. WLXG Lexington. And LM Communications Broadcasting Station. The only no-filter sports show in Kentucky. It's the Alan Cutler Show with award-winning TV sportscaster Alan Cutler.
Yeah, I won't hang up until you tell me you love me.
All right, I love you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it from Alan Cutler. He said he loves Sean Woods.
I feel the same. I've always thought you're absolutely the best and always enjoyed being around you. And
everything you said was absolutely 100% correct.
Man, is this the great Alan Cutler? Is this the infamous Alan Cutler?
Of all the broadcast television people that I've encountered, you are among the absolute elite
Cut to the Chase has a 5-length lead past the 16th pole. Cut to the Chase. Victor Espinoza to win it.
Continue doing what you're doing. You're really good at it.
Be nice, America. Let's have a great day.
Win number 9, that's the future. That's the only goal I have.
We're back, baby. We're back.
They look like kittens more than wildcats, in my opinion.
Hello, Mark. Mr. Pope, 1996.
Oh, my gosh.
What? Hey, let's give it up right here. This is my guy. Yes. I'm so happy to see you.
Hey, gratitude is a skill, guys. But if you practice, it will give you a joyful life regardless of your circumstances.
I mean, effort was everything for us tonight. Without effort, I wouldn't say that we won, but it was just our effort that made us win tonight. Whether it was offensive rebounds or just getting stops on big players on the defensive end or even offensive rebounding. I feel like that was just the motto for the game today, was just to give our effort.
It's my birthday, so let's just start there. That would be the worst thing to lose on my birthday. So I told myself that. I told the guys that before the game. I said, if it's anything y'all could do for me, y'all don't got to give me no gift, nothing. Just let's win the game for my birthday, and we got it done.
So is every game your birthday from now on?
Every day gonna be my birthday from now on. Yes, every game day.
Did you get anything good, though? Did they listen to you and not get you anything, or did they get you something?
No, they didn't give me no gifts. That's crazy, right? What a teammates I have. But, we got the win. That's all I asked for. Man.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Oh, first it was low effort, defense, stops. What a change. What a change from the soft cats to the tough cats. And Mo Diabate, 14 points, 12 rebounds, 5 steals. And he makes the team tough. And I believe he's the most important player on the team. And as Hoops said, Dick Hoops Weiss, privately, I didn't say it on my show. I'm just being honest, no filter. Before the season, I told him that he would be the most important, best player on the team for what he does. You don't have to be the leading scorer to be the best player on the team, and I never said it. Then he got hurt, and I didn't say it. And then watching Saturday's game, I'm going, why didn't I say this before the season? But I did tell Dick Hoops Weiss, and I know you'll believe me. If you don't, I can't help you. Can't help you at all. So I want to do this. I want to talk about the game, but I want to talk about JMI also with some new information that I have with Chip Rupp, Adolph Rupp III. So it's obvious we need to talk about the basketball game first. Hey, Chip, 1, thank you for joining me. And 2, from soft cats to tough cats, every game is a chapter. Each chapter is different. We need to see if it's a trend. That would be a beautiful thing if it's a trend, and things could really change. What did you think? Tough cats now, or is it just one game?
I think it's too early to tell because the sample size is so small, but I was encouraged. I mean, where I was thoroughly discouraged and deflated after the Gonzaga game with no effort, no energy, they didn't want to be there. They checked a lot of those boxes the other night. And you can directly attribute some of the toughness. There was more than one, but in the second half, something clicked and Diabate just put him on his back and said, we're going to get this thing done. And he did it. It was amazing.
And Mo even said he played harder because of Mo. No,
well,
excuse me. Jalen said he played harder because of Mo. My bad.
Yeah, I mean, everything fed off of Mo. There was that one possession where he had a kind of a gimme. He missed it. He tapped it in over 4 IU guys. And I could see in the background the fans erupt. You could see the energy on the bench. That was a monumental moment. It turned the whole tide of the game.
Now, what got me concerned, I bet you too, when Lowe dove for the ball and he landed on his good shoulder, but as he's diving, go, what are you doing? And he said he wanted to show his guys that he was back and he was all in, which is great. And he also said, my trainer's probably not going to like it. It's interesting. Some of these kids have their own private trainers. The world has really changed. I'm assuming private trainer. You don't usually say trainer unless it's a private trainer. I don't know that factually, but that's an obvious guess, as a lot of these guys have trainers in the offseason.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, every time he goes down, he's such a slightly built kid, and he plays hard. He gets downhill, gets to the basket, takes a little contact and goes down. I hold my breath because, as we've discussed previously, shoulder injuries are hard to heal thoroughly that quickly if they will. And, you know, you don't want to see him go down and have that thing come out. So, but the other thing is the speed of the game is so quick. If he plays guarded regarding the shoulder, he's not going to be effective. So he's just got to strap on the brace, go play like he is, and if it comes out, so be it. I mean, he's doing what he has to do to be an impact for the team.
They're going to start overplaying him tremendously to the left so he goes right. It's, matter of fact, tremendously. I was actually surprised, didn't see that against Indiana because they got a smart coach. I mean, I know what I would do. I would say, okay, beat me right. Go ahead. And if somebody hits you, they hit you. And I thought that was a bad mistake by Indiana, strategy-wise. And he's expecting, he even said, yeah, they're going to pick me on my right side. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they're going to do it on purpose. And that's sports. I'm not calling anybody else. As long as it's not dirty, then I'll go crazy. But if it's clean, would Kentucky do the same thing to another kid? Yes, even though Pope probably wouldn't admit it if a player did it in the course of action. You agree with that?
I do. I mean, the fortunate and also unfortunate part of the game is you have to take any competitive advantage you can. You can, and you know it's obvious that he's had a shoulder injury, and so if he runs into a tough screen here and there, you know it's part of the game. You know, in your opening remarks, you were talking about the free throw shooting, and I will say this: I want to defend Loeb because he had a subpar free throw shooting performance. When I was watching the game, you can tell that his free throws, and I guess it affects his jump shot as well, but on those free throws, he was almost short arming him. And I think it's because he's so strapped in the brace, even though it's not on his shooting arm, it's hard to really extend the ball above your head and get a good fluid motion on the shot. So I think the brace has a little bit to do with that. I don't think he's a 50% free throw shooter.
And maybe because he hasn't played a lot, that could be part of it too. Let's put it this way. I hope it's an aberration, and I could see that being a problem. But I'm also going to guess with him being out, he's probably shot a gazillion free throws just to do something. That would be my guess. You know, when guys can't run on the court, yeah, you know, you're shooting on the side and that kind of thing. But that's a very fair comment. It's a very fair comment. So he missed 3. Even still, it still wouldn't be, it would be a lot better. I've always had this thing about free throws. When I see 65%, excuse me, let me round it up to 66. It's just it's just a red flag. It's funny. I wrote in my notes Cal game because how many times did we hear Cal say, "Oh, I love it when we play really tough D and don't shoot well, we come out with the win." And this would be almost ironic and funny if this team ended up mirroring a Cal team. Let me throw this at you. So I don't know what the hell Pope was going to do. I didn't know that he was going to put Trent Noah in the starting lineup. I have this theory that if Noah's going to play like 11 minutes a game, because the days of him playing 25, 30 minutes is not going to happen unless he starts off the game, he hits 3 in a row and just leave him in until his tongue's falling off. But I'm good with starting him and then coming off the bench with, no disrespect to Trent, better people. I kind of like this. And the other thing is, too, I liked how the rotation shortened, thank goodness, and you weren't seeing 3 guys coming in and out like a hockey game. So this kind of tells me that Pope, as a coach, is adjusting to his talent. Now he's got more of his talent back as injuries and stuff like that, which helps him out. But it shows me he's adjusting, and I love it.
No, I agree. It, you know, in Mark's defense, he's been feeling his way along this year, and he hasn't quite figured it out yet. But he's now starting to trim down the rotation. He's starting to have some. There didn't seem to be much of a method to his madness in previous games. He was just throwing stuff at a wall to see what worked. He was much more methodical in the IU game, and I like what we saw there. I loved what we saw out of Brandon Garrison, how he responded to the benching. I mean, I've not been a big fan of how he's carried himself on the court all season, but he was a difference maker in that last game. He was engaged. His energy was great. And if we can get that out of him game to game, when we add on Jaden Quaintance, then we're going to really have something going. So I think, you know, that's going to be a good win for the team. I think Mark trimming down the rotation and getting a better feel for what his rotation is going to look like is going to help. And then, to your earlier point, Trent Noah starting, I think he's very predictable. You know what type of energy and effort you're going to get out of him, even though he may lack a little bit of skill. He will help set the tone early on, and then you come with more skilled guys off the bench. I think that makes a lot of sense.
So Kentucky's not in the new top 25. Georgia's 25. Auburn's 21. Tennessee's 20. Texas Tech is 19. Indiana's 18. Patino's 22. Bama's down to 16. Is that Arkansas? 14. My glasses. Vandy 13. It's just interesting seeing all these teams. Arizona's 1, Michigan is 2, Duke's 3, Iowa State 4. But it's interesting not seeing Kentucky in. But as I've said before, the NC Central game, if they would win the 3 games in a row, NC Central given, and then Indiana, which they did, and if they beat Pitino, and I said I had no idea if they could or would, but I said if they won those 3 games, they'll be back in the top 25. I said it before NC Central, and I stand by it because there's a lot of teams with a lot of losses this year.
Yeah, no, I think you're right. If we can go and get a win against St. John's, I think we'll re-enter the rankings. What I would say is I'm not overly concerned right now about being in the rankings. I just want to see consistent game after game improvement. Obviously, we have to rack up some wins now. It's getting critical, but we just need to continue to get better. We took a huge step forward from the Gonzaga game. You can't really evaluate NC Central at all because, it was just, and no offense to those kids, but it just was not a valid opponent. But the IU win really, in regards to the second half, I think we showed that something clicked. And now I want to see us take it, translate that to the first half of the St. John's game. Let's get out of there with a win and then continue getting better.
Pretty simple. If you have 4 turnovers against NC Central, I go, that's nice. You have 4 turnovers against Indiana, I'm going, ooh. That's impressive. I know we agree 100% on that.
We do. And what I would say, look, I don't want to take anything away from these kids. They showed improvement. I can't really explain how Indiana is still ranked. They are not a juggernaut by any means. If you look at their wins, and this is not to take away from our victory, okay? But, they're only 2 feature opponents that they had wins against were Marquette and Kansas State. And I don't know that either one of those are great basketball teams. But when I watched them on the court, at every position, we were better than they were. There's no question. Tucker, DeVries and Wilkerson are the 2 top players. But neither one of those guys blew me away. So that is a game that I'm proud of the guys that they stepped up and won, and we should have won because we're a better team.
You know what Wilkerson played like? And I want to get up. You know what Wilkerson played like since he almost came here? He played like a kid. What's the kid who played here, went to Providence, now is to St. John's? I can picture him. Hopkins, a small forward.
Oh, Bryce Hopkins, yeah.
He played like a kid who played here, which he never did, and then felt pressure by coming back. And he got in foul trouble, and they took him out of the game. And Kentucky played really good defense on him, too. I don't want to negate that, too. But I think he felt extra pressure by playing at Rupp Arena because a lot of people thought he was coming here. So let's see how he does the rest. I think he's a hell of a player, and it'd been great if Kentucky had him. There's no sour grapes, but I give Kentucky all the credit for that. Okay, let me get into this touchy topic, and as much as I respect your opinion. So I stand by it. Let me do my little thing, and then I'm going to shut up, and you just go. I put on Twitter that Mitch Barnhart deciding to talk to Tom Leach on the Kentucky Network is not an interview. It's BS. This is not knocking Tom, nor am I knocking Keith Farmer. Dear friend, when Cal and Mitch did that little love fest before Cal left, Keith cannot ask questions that are normal reporters' questions. It's BBN Network. UK would not allow it. Tom Leach is smart. Tom is great at what he does. He cannot ask questions. So I listened to the whole thing, and Mitch had some good information, but it's not an interview. It's BS. That's what I put on Twitter. But here's the point. So I read the KSR story. I respect the KSR story. And in there was a real query in there, which just, it's one of those things. Somebody is wrong. And what I understand now, maybe nobody is wrong, which is a little unusual here. I'm not kissing anybody's you know what. JMI early on, I believe, I'm talking slow on purpose, put contracts in front of kids and say you sign with Kentucky, you need to sign this. I do not believe they're doing it now. I do not believe. Plus, if you think about it, there's a difference. Okay, you got 85 scholarships on football. There's maybe 20 guys going to make money, something like that. It's not 85 guys making a lot of money. In basketball, it's 10 guys maybe, but the last few, as everybody knows, are not making the same amount of money. So if you take out whether it's, 22, 25, 30, 32 athletes, that kind of thing, and a couple now women's basketball players are making a bunch of money, but not on the level of men's basketball. Outside what I would call the elite dollar-wise, if you're a golfer and you can make a couple of bucks, right, or it's another sport, it's almost silly not to sign with JMI. Not that I'm telling anybody what to do, because they have so many resources available to them. But the rule was, and this is the part that really ticked me off, I'm going, somebody's wrong here. The rule is you don't have to sign with JMI, but if you don't sign with them, you can't use their facilities. And I respect that too, because they have all kinds of resources that are available for student athletes. If you sign with them, why should I give it to you if you're not signing with us? Because then that's not fair to the guys who sign with us. That's all fair. This is what I understand. Sorry for the long diatribe, but I want everybody to understand this. If you're a business person, and Chip, you know this all too well. If you don't adjust, you're not going to survive. You're just not going to survive. And so I believe through the course of time, which is just normal, smart business, JMI is looking at these deals differently, and they should. I think everybody is, because agents now have become so strong so quickly. It's shocking how quickly agents have become that strong. It really is. And they've just broken through on schools. Schools are doing all kinds of things for agents that they never thought they would do in a million years. So I believe KSR, when they said, hey, you need to sign to come to Kentucky if you want to be a Kentucky player. I also believe now that's not true. So I'm not ripping anybody. What I'm saying is credit to UK and JMI for adjusting when they had to. Every business adjusts. We did all kinds of adjusting in TV. We just did. And you would do things, you would say, hey, let's do this. No, we can't do this. Oh, now we're doing this? I mean, it's just business. And so if my information is correct, and I know it's correct, then I credit JMI. You have to. And I credit Mitch. And I don't know how they decided to change it. I'm guessing JMI ended up changing from dealing with agents and stuff like that, but Mitch has kept informed. It's good. The problem is he did a fluff interview with Tom, better than nothing, but come do my show, which we'll never do, or come do a press conference, that kind of thing. So I think it's worthy of complimenting that I believe JMI has adjusted with the market, which any business has to do, and applaud him for that. Does that make sense? And Chip Rupp, I'm going to turn my mic off and you go.
Well, that's a lot to follow. It's hard for me because I'm not an insider to be able to speculate regarding the JMI UK partnership. What I can say is JMI bought those rights, I think, for 10 years for a very significant sum of money. And I think going into it, I think Mitch thought it was a state-of-the-art deal. And it may very well turn out to be that way. I never really understood the JMI partnership prior to that, because JMI really was not known for being involved in sports. I think we were one of their first universities, and by being first, you become the flagship for that company. So for the type money that they've invested, they want to make darn sure that UK succeeds. That's the only way it's a good business venture for them. And so I can't speculate on what contracts were put in front of players and what is being placed in front of them now. But if your information is accurate, I commend Paul Archie, the people at JMI, and Mitch for being flexible and figuring it out. If that was a limiting factor on us getting players, good leaders are flexible. They look at the market, they look at their challenges, and they make adjustments. And if your information is accurate, I commend them both.
Started talking, I just realized to turn my mic off, make sure I didn't interrupt you. If my information is incorrect, I will apologize on the air. I will not duck it. I will say I'm wrong. It's I don't think it's wrong. As a matter of fact, I know it's not wrong. And I'm very cool with how you catch it. By the way, the new contract with JMI goes through 2040. And by the way, this doesn't mean JMI will be successful. It doesn't mean it'll fail. But I always it's like a coach adjusting during a game. It's like what Pope is doing. He's shortening the rotation, that kind of stuff. You adjust to what's going on. I applaud them for doing it. And I think they had to. And the last thing on this, and then please comment back. If you're going to succeed and you see something in the marketplace which says, well, I'd like to do this, but they're not going to let me, or we're not going to get players, or it really won't work, or this is a fair way of doing it. I don't care how you decide to do it, but if you make a change and adjust to the times, I think it's smart, and I think you have to have some fluidity and flexibility when you do these kinds of things. I think it shows that they're saying, okay, here's the marketplace. This is what we want to do. Oh, okay, we need to adjust a little bit.
Yeah, no, I think you're spot on. And look, people are after Mitch right now, saying that he's not on board with NIL and all this. And I don't believe that for a second. Mitch is very good at what he does, and he understands that even though he may not love NIL, and I don't love it either, that is the landscape that we have to play on. And if one of the limiting factors of us getting better players was the JMI partnership and how it was originally structured, I can assure you that Mitch is not going to let this crumble, and that we're at the mercy of JMI. And Paul Archie is he's a Kentuckian. He loves Kentucky. He wants Kentucky to succeed. I guarantee you people up the ladder have had these discussions, and they're going to make adjustments to make this work for both parties.
Plus, Archie's a really smart dude, too, besides his
very smart dude.
Yeah. And and let's amplify what you said. Not only does he want Kentucky, Paul Archie, to be successful for his company, but he wants Kentucky to be successful because they're not successful. He's screwed. I mean, they are putting out a ton of money, which they believe they'll end up making more money for Kentucky than what's in than how they're doing it, which will be even more. The point is this. Look, somebody came at me personally, Mitch doesn't care about Kentucky, which is dumb. Mitch is giving his adult life to Kentucky. That doesn't mean I'm going to agree with everything he says. But I mean, if anybody says they question Mitch's love for Kentucky, you lose me. I don't want to hear a damn word from you. Now, you want to say you don't like something? That's, to me, totally different. But you start questioning, the guy's put his whole, basically how much of his adult life here. So I will always respect that.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I've said it previously. Mitch came here, and he was brought in to change the landscape. Prior to Mitch, you had Larry Ivey, Cliff Hagan, C.M. Newton, and those guys were very accessible for a lot of the donors and the fan base. And by having those common touch points, there were a lot of people that had influence behind the scenes. Mitch came in, he was going to build a program outside of just football and basketball that was championship caliber across the board, really elevate Title IX sports. And he's done all those. By all accounts, he will go down as the greatest athletic director in our history. And you can't refute that statement. He loves Kentucky. He spent 25 years here, I think, and he's going to retire. And I think he's going to remain in this community. So he's fully vested, and he wants to leave the program better on his way out than he took over when he came in. And so I think he's done a great job.
By the way, I have no idea what Mitch is going to do down in the future. He doesn't talk to me, and that's all good and that kind of stuff. But his grandkids are around here. Who the heck moves when your grandkids are around here? It's just, you can have two homes. He can afford two homes. I don't want to get on that tangent.
Well,
He's a Kentucky guy. He is a Kentucky guy. Go ahead.
No, what I was going to say is if you keep posting my comments on social media, he may not be talking to me anymore either.
He's probably already stopped. It's probably the way of the world, right? Okay. Anything else about Kentucky in your cranium? I love the 4 turnovers only against Indiana. I love the toughness. I love Mo Diabate, and I'm sticking with Mo Diabate. And if I end up being wrong at the end of the season, I was right on Owe. Nobody else said Owe was going to be that good before the season. As soon as he signed, I did some homework and said it. And I should have said Mo earlier, but Mo totally, look, Lowe changes the team too. Let's not get silly. But Mo totally changed this entire basketball team. And I'm saying it because I expect him to play that tough next time and the time after and the time after. And he's a lunch pail kind of guy.
Yeah. Well, if you go back to our early discussions regarding this team, I loved the roster. I said this team is constructed just like Florida was last year, with multiple players, and that we could withstand and sustain performance in light of any injuries or foul trouble. And we saw that to not really be the case. You lost Lowe, you lost Diabate, and there was clearly a drop off. It also presented an opportunity for some guys that may not have gotten as many reps to get early reps. If we can continue to see the intensity, the work ethic, the toughness that we saw in the second half of the IU game, we're still on track to get where we want to be by the end of the year. It may be a painful process, more painful than we wanted. We wanted a lot of early season success, but I think we can get there. And we still have the ability, Alan, for a Jaden Quaintance to arrive. I don't think he's going to arrive Saturday. I think they're going to hold him out till Alabama, but I don't know that for sure. But he's going to be a difference maker. And then you can keep Diabate and Lowe healthy. There's a lot to be encouraged about. What I do want to see, and I don't understand this, is why the shooting that's off the charts at the Joe Kraft Center is not translating to Rupp Arena. I don't understand that, but I still held out hope that it will improve. And to your earlier point, the free throw shooting has to get better, because that'll come back and bite you at NCAA tournament time. But there's a lot to be encouraged about. I'm really thankful that we had that IU game, and in particular that second half. It gives me reason to be optimistic about what's coming. And Saturday's going to be a tall task. St. John's has not played up to expectations thus far, but I can tell you the teacher never wants to get beaten by the pupil. And I think that there's going to be a few wrinkles and increased intensity on Rick Pitino's part to make sure that we don't come in there and get a win.
Adolph Rupp III, Chip Rupp, dear friend. Oh, last one.
Yes.
Quick, just for some more information. So how UK did contracts like in the Stoops era will be different, and is now different with this new staff. So what I'm trying to tell you is, the way I understand it is that things change and you evolve. JMI has changed their contracts from when they started. Kentucky is changing their contracts. This is a normal evolution, but you hear it here first.
That's good feedback. Great leaders look at what obstacles they're facing and they make adjustments. And, Mitch has been successful for a long time at the helm of UK sports, and Paul Archie didn't land in his position by accident. So I commend them both.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, thanks. Have a good day.
Hey, we need to have that soft drink.
Yes. Let's do it next week.
Okay. Sounds good. Right. See you, man. Chip Rupp III. No, Adolph Rupp III. What did I just do? Chip Rupp. I just did do that, didn't I? That was a lot of information that I hope you soaked up. And actually, it's kind of positive. Now, Pope has to close some guys he's supposed to close. Because there should be, when I say supposed to, there should be a certain amount of guys in the top 30 he's able to close. Hasn't done one yet. And if these contracts now are not prohibiting him whatsoever, then therefore it's all on Pope to recruit the right way. And I think that's more than fair. And is that putting pressure on him? Yeah. But so what? You're the coach of Kentucky. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914, 859-533-0914. Acupuncture! Now also providing a licensed massage therapist, acupuncture. It's helped me tremendously. All the things that acupuncture can do, it's almost indescribable. I'm lucky and blessed to have found Ramon Carriega on Versailles Road, not too far from downtown. Blue Lotus Health, 859-533-0914. Jason Mays coming up next. Interesting story. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM, 92.5 FM.
No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler, brought to you by Quantrell Auto Group. QuantrellForLife.com.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. Have a no filter comment? Hit the text line, 859-381-1313, 859-381-1313.
Houchins Insurance Group is proud to partner with Auto Owners Insurance, a company that provides opportunity for independent agents to make insurance simple for their clients, offering risk management services that range from a renter's policy for your college student to home and auto coverage for your entire family. Houchins Insurance Group assures you that nobody works harder to keep you protected from life's uncertainties. Reach out to AJ Boss or Zach Bennett at 859-263-2771 to see if Auto Owners Insurance makes sense for you.
Hi, this is Alan Cutler. This holiday season, give the gift of adventure with Quattrell Subaru. Right now, the 2025 Subaru Share the Love event. Subaru will donate $250 to one of 5 amazing nonprofits, including the Hope Center. And Quattrell Subaru is stepping up in a big way, more than doubling that, donating a total of $550 for every new Subaru purchased or leased now through January 2nd. Be part of the community and help make a difference through the 2025 Share the Love event at Quattrell Subaru. Learn more at QuattrellSubaru.com.
My name is Terry Schultz, CEO for the Rutherford County Area Habitat for Humanity. Republic Bank has really been a game changer. They have invested not only financially, but time to really listen so that we can move our mission forward. What I like about Republic Bank is they've come in asking, what are your needs? And I don't know that you get that any other place.
That's Terry's story. Now let's get to work on yours. Republic Bank. Time to thrive. Member FDIC.
Ho, ho, ho.
What are you doing, Uncle Rick?
Looking at these twinkle lights, 250 strands of lights, 100 individual bulbs per strand, for a grand total of 25,000 twinkle lights.
Well, it looks like you're not quite ready for the holidays yet. But here at Clark's Pep & Shop, we are. We have 5-hour energy shots, buy 2, get 1 free, and Mike and Ike or Hot Tamales Theater Box Candy, 2 for $2.
Maybe I should wrap up my lights so I can get over to Clark's Pep & Shop.
Uncle Rick, the little lights aren't blinking.
I know, Carlo. I know.
Happy holidays from the Clark family.
Back to No Filter Radio with Alan Cutler. Podcasts on Apple, Spotify, and Google, Monday through Friday.
1300 AM, 92.5 FM, and really enjoyed Chip Rupp, and I hope you enjoyed the new information about JMI and contracts and how also UK has changed. That is breaking. So if you missed it, the podcast will be up by 2:30. Jimmy will put it up anywhere you get podcasts, including the ESPN Sports Lexington app, which is the best way listening live or podcast. So that was fun. The gentleman I'm now going to talk to, back in the day, was an assistant basketball coach when he had more hair at Georgetown College. And then he's had 2 high school programs where he's won regional championships. That doesn't happen every day. Not the first to do it, but it doesn't happen every day. And when COVID hit, Ashland Blazer High was 33-0, but obviously he couldn't find out if they could win the state championship. There were a lot more important things going on in the world. And in Montgomery County, he also has won big, including a run to the Sweet 16 regional championship and stuff. And he's unemployed. Now, the question is, he has admitted to making some mistakes. But my question is, are the mistakes equal to being out of a job? Is it possible that in today's society, and this has nothing to do with Jason, and I've communicated this before, that I believe administrators are so, not everyone, are so concerned about covering their own you-know-what in today's times, they're more apt to get rid of people just to save their you-know-what. And I think there's a lot of people would say that's true. And there's a lot of vindictiveness that I have felt in certain situations. And there's a lot of situations I don't know in coaching. Like the gentleman who coached Wayne County for 1 million years, one of the greatest coaches in the history of Kentucky, and how he got pushed out is still disgusting. I don't want to go on a tangent on that, but it might be the most disgusting thing I've ever seen since I started becoming a sportscaster. I'm serious. It was that bad. When you do that much for kids and you win and you're from there and the whole thing, all because of politics, and if anybody has any proof otherwise, you're welcome to come on my show. Equal time I will always give. It's funny, when I said it at the time, nobody wanted to come on the show. Neither here nor there, but they didn't want to hear the other side of the story. So with Jason Mays, give me a headline of what happened to you at Ashland, and then headline what happened to you at Montgomery County. And I like the fact you said, look, I make mistakes, but the punishment might not fit the crime, as they say. And I don't mean crime in a horrible way, but you're not perfect. A lot of coaches aren't perfect. I'm not ripping anybody, but there's a difference between suspending somebody for a couple games and saying, get the heck out of here, even when you won.
Yeah. The headline at Ashland was first of all, thanks for having me on, Alan. It's good to connect with you again. Known you for a long time. But the headline at Ashland was spring break on my birthday, April 1st. A guy called me, I knew the gentleman. He had an 8th grade son. His son's a senior now, and is a good player. He's committed to a Division I school to continue his education and play basketball. About transferring to Ashland, and he recorded the phone conversation. When we were done, over the next 6 months after that phone conversation, it leaked out purposely to social media outlets and KHSAA and anybody that he thought could have a gotcha moment with not only myself but our program. And fast forward to November of 22, so almost 6 months later, give or take. It was over 6 months later. I got fired. You know, no new information. It was just all stemming from that call. And the headline from Montgomery County. About 19 months ago, I was trying to help a woman who had unenrolled her kid at his previous institution, and she said that she was going to enroll him in Montgomery County, and he was going to wanted to play basketball for Montgomery County. And she was trying to find housing, and she had some certain think Section 8 kind of deal. And a friend of mine had a Section 8 qualified house, and trying to put the puzzle pieces together, just trying to help her out. And he wasn't enrolled yet, so it's a violation to have communication with her. This was all addressed in August of 24 with the school he's at now. He didn't even come here. And there was the mother wanted to make nothing of it. The KHSA contacted her about it. And just happened to be that on the weekend that we got some new transfers because their father is purchasing a chiropractic practice in our community, and his sons are good players. His oldest son is, one of the top 20 point guards in the class of 28 in the country, according to ESPN. So he's a good player. Just so happened on that weekend, a few weekends ago, that those 19-month-old text messages were just released randomly again. And my superintendent just didn't like the look of it. And so he was going to suspend me for 10 days with pay pending a KHSA investigation. Well, I know how that was going to go. And so I resigned.
So, question here. The dad was moving his chiropractic business, having nothing to do with you, right?
100%. But there were two practices for sale in Kentucky, one in E-Town, one in Mount Sterling.
But that's not the point.
And
the point is, why wouldn't you stay on to fight for it when the father could go in front of the KSSA and say, look, I didn't move here for Jason to be my son's coach. I moved here because this is a business deal, and Jason just happens to be the coach. When we talked privately, that was the part that baffled me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't think it hurt the fact that he knew that we had a good program in the community that one of the two practices was for sale at. Okay. But that transfer, to my knowledge, is fine. It's seamless. The text messages were for something 19 months ago of a kid that never enrolled in Montgomery County. They were just trying to, I don't know, what do we call that now? Gaslight the situation. They were just trying to set it aflame again. And, I think that was the precipice that caused people to, well, he didn't get in trouble for this last time. Let's see if we can get him in trouble for it again, kind of deal. But it was 100% gotcha. And it just happened to be that, that kid and that family transferring in was the catalyst that caused him to do that.
Listen, if I'm a dad and my son's a top 30 player and I'm moving, I'd want to move to a good program. That not only shouldn't hurt you, that should help you earn the right to be a good program. What the hell does that got to do with anything? I wish you would have, I understand what you're saying. When it goes in front of the KHSA, you're usually telling you're going to lose. That was your feelings. I think that's what you're communicating. I want to make sure that's correct. But if you came in with a lawyer and with which would have cost and say, hey, look, whatever. I mean, you love to coach. You're a hell of a coach. Your record is really, really good. Okay.
Thank you.
It is.
Take good players.
Yeah. We hadn't talked in years, but had you called me, I would say, take a deep breath, go hire a lawyer. Go hire a really good lawyer and walk in there. And I don't know this, but the odds of them backing down would have been bigger.
That's something that is commonly said when dealing with the KHSA. Hire a lawyer and your chances improve drastically. Let me tell you this, Alan. If I ever coach high school basketball again, I'm gonna go straight to the superintendent of whatever district I'm talking to, and I'm gonna ask a simple question. And you may not like this, but this is sort of where my headspace is.
Now, wait a second. Hold, Jason. I don't care if I like it or not. I just want what's from the heart.
But I'm gonna ask the superintendent, what have you ever won personally athletically? Now, Alan, when you were in high school, when I was in high school, I'm 50. There's a good chance that your principal, your superintendent, your assistant principals were former coaches. That is becoming less and less the case. And these people that are running districts, they're struggling to realize that athletics is the front porch, as Nick Saban once said when he was at LSU, to your school. They're not going to come in and see a biology lab. They're not going to come in and see the choir room. They're not going to come in and see the social studies classroom. They're not going to see really the cafeteria even, but they're going to see inside a football stadium or a basketball arena, and they're going to see teams play and compete. And that's going to be their perception of the school and the district in general. So it's a pretty important deal. And when it's done right, it can set a community on fire. But coaches that create that momentum for a school and a community, they're a hot ticket. Well, whenever that hot ticket draws some smoke, sometimes they need to be protected. And in 2025, high school coaches are not protected anymore. We're not, because more and more administration is not in tune with athletics because they've never really come up in athletics themselves.
I got to stop you for a second. Hang on a second. I want to stop you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Couple things. You're not the first coach to tell me that high school coaches are not protected. I seem to hear it a little more and more than I did 15, 18 years ago. The second thing is, and I believe this, I think one of the reasons, this is what others who do this have communicated to me, that a lot of these administrators don't want to get involved with a controversy and don't want, we had another gentleman who lost his job as a softball coach after he turned the program around. One parent went crazy and they just backed off, and he had done all these things besides winning to help the program out. But one parent, and they backed off. I believe, and if somebody administration wants to tell me I'm wrong, I'm all ears. Send me a message, whatever. I'm happy to have you on. Everybody's different. I believe administrators today are covering their own blanks a lot more than ever before because of the temperature of politics, because of the temperature of parents screaming, because of a minority can also oftentimes override a majority. That's what people tell me. And again, if I'm wrong, I want to hear about it. Now, we got about a minute and a half, so give one more shot.
You're fine. That's a broad brush, my statement and your statement, but I think it's, with every passing year, it's becoming definitely more and more true. And I think this involves the KHSA as well, Alan. I think they've got to understand that player mobility is not going anywhere. When I say player mobility, it's a fancy way of saying transfers. And so they've got to loosen up the leash, if you will, in dealing with this, because it's just going to cause more and more problems. Parent choice, whether you're Republican, Democrat, parents are going to send their kids where they can have the most resources to be successful. And so the schools that are haves and the schools that are have-nots, it really does matter, and especially in athletics and extracurricular programming. And so if we don't sort of grab a hold of player mobility and transfers and understanding that coaches are going to be exposed in these situations, there's not going to be a whole lot of people want to coach anymore at the high school level, and high school athletics will become less and less relevant. So it's sort of death by inches, but I think it's something that we need to pay attention to.
Well, let's put it this way. On the one hand, I kind of feel for the KHSAA because it's a tough thing to do. On the other hand, I couldn't agree with you more. This transferring stuff ain't stopping.
Yeah.
Give me a quick response. Let's say your kid's a great violin player. Okay. A school in Louisville or Lexington, I don't care where, has a great music program. And if the parent can do it, they're going to go out of their way to send your child to that school where it can enhance their ability for music, or maybe there's a great school for debate or something like that. And not every school is equal, but it's like sports has been put on a pedestal. And if your program is better and that attracts more people, which helps you get better, well, you know what? If my kid is really good, I want to play for a really good coach. I took up most of this. You got 20 seconds to respond. Sorry about that, Jason.
No, you're fine. I understand. I just let me finish with this. If you're a coach out there and listening in the podcast, just to understand that you need to understand who can fire you when drama is stirred, and make sure that that person has won in the athletic arena and understands what winning looks like, or you're headed down a path that you're going to regret eventually. I think that's really good advice for coaches. And sadly, I just don't think there's a lot of administrators that are positioning themselves to support and to protect coaches anymore.
Well, that's a great comment. I wish the best of luck. Godspeed.
Thank you.
You deserve to be coaching. You help kids out. You win games. You're not perfect. And guess who else isn't perfect? I'm not perfect. And you should be coaching, period. And if somebody knows something about Jason that hasn't been reported and you have proof, call me. I'm found. I know what I'm saying. I'll give equal time. But Jason, you should be coaching, period. And you know what? If they a couple games, okay. But when a man wants to move his business and he's got two places and he says, "Oh, but this is a better basketball program. I'll go there." That's what I would do. I'm sorry. Have a great Christmas. Thank you for coming on. I wish you Godspeed, and you belong in basketball. You should, and keep your chin up. And I hope maybe there's a principal out there listening saying, if I have to make a change, let me look at this guy. Let me look at your track here. I'm out of time. Bless you. Merry Christmas to your family. Do me a favor. Keep me informed of, if you don't mind, good and bad. And I hope next time we communicate, it's good. How about that?
Thank you.
Thanks, man. Have a great day.
Yep. Bye-bye.
See you. Jimmy, it's a fascinating story. And it's interesting. We've had now a few of these things with people who got, I think, a wrong deal. Yes?
Yeah, and it's a lot to get into, but I'm fully behind Jason.
Me too.
Yeah.
There's three so far in the last couple of years that just ticked me off. And if I'm wrong, please let me know. I'm out of time. Brad Teller's next. Matthew, Jimmy 10. I'll be back at noon. Thank you. You want to hear the podcast with the new information about Mitch and JMI and stuff like that? That's part of the podcast. It was after 1 o'clock, about somewhere in the middle with talking to Chip Rupp. Thank you. Have a great day. Tell your friends. Count your blessings. Stay warm. Alan Cutler, 1300 AM.